Let's take a look at Thursday's 3 games in the NBA, streaming options, injury updates, and Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd and I'm ready to throw another shrimp on the barbie. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Twitter as always at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We're free. We're available on all platforms. So double bang, thumb, comment. Do it. Thursday. After a 15-game Monday and a 12-game Wednesday, it's a bit of a change in pace with just the 3 games on Thursday. A few of those teams playing on Thursday are playing on Wednesday, so coming in on the back-to-back. And then we lead into a gigantic 13-game Friday, which, cool. That's great. That's how the schedule plays out. We've known that for a while, obviously, and that makes it frustrating in terms of trying to manage our teams and get the correct guys in on the correct days. Thursday is going to be one of the key days, along with Saturday, in terms of finding the lower volumes in order to be able to grab guys in and try and get games played advantages as best we can. But, of course, when you play lower volumes and fewer games on that day, the quality of players available to add off the wire does become a little bit lower. So let's take a look at what's actually cracking on Thursday, what the games are and what we're paying attention to. We'll start by just checking out those games individually, what's on my radar in those games, who's in, who's out, and the particular stream options that are available. The first game, we're talking Minnesota Timberwolves, and they're going to take on the Chicago Bulls. Now, the Bulls are playing on Wednesday. The Wolves aren't. The Wolves have 3 more games still this week, so Thursday, Friday, Sunday, whereas Chicago has the Thursday, Saturday low-volume combo. Both teams play 4 games in week 4. Lonzo is going to be out for Chicago. We don't have an update on Zach LaVine as of this stage. I say that. Maybe I should double-check whether LaVine's been ruled in or out for Wednesday's game. I'm pretty sure we don't have any update on that just at this point, as we just double-check that. No, LaVine is still questionable for the game on Wednesday, so I'm going to put him questionable here, and Jalen Smith, Pat Williams, and Josh Giddey are all probable for the game on Wednesday, so I'll put them as probable here. I don't really think there's much risk of those guys sitting. The LaVine one is obviously more risky. On the Wolves side of things, it's really hard to consider Mike Conley a must-hold if he's playing 24, 25 minutes a night. We're getting to a stage where I can watch it and go, will it change? But there's probably enough sort of evidence in the rotations that Chris Finch is using that's not going to be the case. We'll watch it again, but I think he's firmly in the, if you want to move on, you move on. In terms of stream guys, it's always going to be Jaden McDaniels. He's never going to be rostered enough to be held in all scenarios, but he's always going to be at least somewhat useful enough as a 30-minute player to have a crack, just to get somebody in who might get those good minutes, but you just don't want to always hold them. So you're always attacking those Minnesota quality game days. On the Bulls, it could be Patrick Williams, but it could also be Ayo Dosunmu as the stream guy. Williams probably gets more minutes than Dosunmu if LaVine plays, but if LaVine is out, then it is very, very clearly Dosunmu, the guy that we'd be paying attention to in that situation. The second game, thankfully, doesn't involve teams on a back-to-back. It's Utah and Milwaukee. There's obviously a big thing hanging out there with both of these teams in terms of injuries. We'll talk about that in a sec. Utah also, like Chicago, has the Thursday-Saturday combination with the games, 2 low-volume days. They have 4 games in week 4, whereas Milwaukee's got, much like Minnesota, 3 games this week, Thursday, Friday, Sunday, plus 3 games next week. Jordan Clarkson will be out, the old man on the street for the Jazz, but we don't know about Lauri Markkanen. He did practice. He's officially questionable. I would say that suggests that he plays. The other guy that might be appearing for the first time this season is rookie Isaiah Collier. I would hope that he's able to get Patrick Mills' minutes as the backup, but we'll find out, won't we? The one that we need to... Khris Middleton's out, by the way. Still, the updates on him, we get updates, but they don't really, tell us anything. Doc Rivers doesn't tell us anything about, is he day-to-day, is he week-to-week, and Doc says, I can't give you an answer to that. But Doc always plays dumb on this stuff. He'll play dumb on, hey, is someone playing? Well, I didn't even know he was on the injury report. Yeah, sure. That definitely sounds 100% true, Glenn. So, it's very hard to believe a single thing that he says, but it's really easy to suggest that Middleton won't play today. I'm very confident in saying that. Well, not today, Thursday. The one we don't know about is Giannis. Giannis missed the game on Monday. They've got a Thursday, Friday back-to-back here. This is, you would think, a relatively easy game, but if you're the Bucks, what's easy? You can't win a game anyway. I would be somewhat skeptical that Giannis plays in both of these games, but we don't have that clarity yet. Marjon Beauchamp missed the last game. He's questionable, but it literally just doesn't matter. And then Pat Connaughton, he was probable last game. I'll put him as a probable tag here again. I think we're fine with that one. What are we watching for? John Collins has been ridiculously good. The minutes have been low, and I do want to... Well, actually, not true. The minutes jumped up last game. How do they value him here? Because obviously they're not starting him. They're keeping him on the bench. And when Lauri returns, which could be this game, and I think it probably will be this game for Markkanen, what does that mean for Collins? Does he go back and play 21 minutes? Does he keep up the insane per minute production? Or does he go back to being a waiver wire fodder sort of a player? On the Bucks side of things, they sort of reduced all of Gary Trent and Taurean Prince's minutes. And they went to a lot more Andre Jackson Jr. and AJ Green. I don't know that I trust Glenn Rivers to do that again, but AJ Green can shoot. Gary Trent cannot. It might make a lot of sense to have Green play minutes over Trent. I just don't know that though. So we want to watch to see how they use it. I'm very confident that Cody Williams is going to start for Utah, but he's very much a big do-nothing player. So he could be someone that we look at as a stream guy, but you might get the occasional 12 points, 3 threes, 4 rebounds, or something like that. Trent could be the stream in Milwaukee. It could be Prince. It could be Green. But as I said, the direction they go is very much always up in the air, and we saw that Doc changed that up a bit last game, and I'm not 100% convinced that is going to hold as we move forward here. All right, we're back to talk about the other game, streaming in a second, but today's episode is brought to you by Skims. Yes, Skims. We've all had problems with underwear, and that's why I think as a general population, when we find a pair of underwear that fits and is comfortable, we hang on to it. Probably for too long in a lot of cases, but Skims for men is now a thing. You've heard of Skims before, your partner might have used, you might have seen them on TV, whatever, you've seen it, but Skims for men is now a thing, and the underwear they have is extremely comfortable. Different sizes, shapes, material, cotton, stretch, all that sort of stuff. And these are the things that when you try them, you are going to feel like it is the new pair of underwear that you're going to always want to hold on to. Skims for men has all these different shapes, all the different sizes that you need. And again, the comfort is the thing. You're going to be like, what have I been doing with these other undies? You're going to chuck them out. You're going to be all into getting these Skims. They've got the cotton 5-inch boxer briefs there, which again, the different material. What do you like? The stretchy material, which might be something you wear under running shorts, the traditional cotton, the different sizes, the different cuts, so many different options, colors as well. And once you wear them, you're going to be like, man, I just need to get more of these. So shop Skims Men at skims.com and let them know that we sent you. When you place your order, there's a drop-down menu. Select podcast in that survey, and that tells them that you came from here. So if you're looking for the perfect gifts as well for the whole family, Skims just launched their biggest holiday shop ever, which is also available at skims.com. All right, let's do the last game of the day, and we got an update on this because we talked about it in the waiver wire show earlier today, but Shaedon Sharpe has been upgraded to questionable. The Spurs are 3.5-point favorites in this one. Blazers go Thursday, Friday, Sunday, where San Antonio's got the Thursday, Saturday combination. So Shaedon Sharpe, I said, was out, but he's not. He's questionable. So that return that I thought might be a week away is happening maybe now. Matisse Thybulle remains out, Devin Vassell is out, Jeremy Sohan is out, and Trey Jones remains out. So I want to see what happens with Scoot Henderson and Tamani Kamara if Sharpe returns. It's really key. Keldon Johnson's someone to watch on the Spurs with the absence of Sohan. I think they'll start Castle, but they could start Johnson, but they've been very reluctant to start Johnson, keeping him in a bench role, but bench role might mean 24, it might mean 32. We'll have to find out. The stream guys, Donovan Clingan is... your stream player. Robert Williams returned last game, but didn't play, so he wasn't in the rotation. We'll see whether that was just a one-game thing or not, but Klingan's ability to get you blocks is useful, but that doesn't do much more. And then on the Spurs side, if Champagnie and Johnson are gone, Harrison Barnes is worth a look. We know who Harrison Barnes is. I'm pretty sure we know that. What sort of a player he is by now. Let's take a look at some of the schedule plays. I'm not going to do back-to-backs because there's 13 games on Friday. But what we'll do is have a look at some chunks. So we'll go Thursday through to Monday. Thursday, low volume. Friday, way too big. Saturday is low volume. Sunday's 11, so I'm going to include it in the chunks, and then Monday is 5 games. So we've got a couple of Spurs players there in Julian Champagnie and Keldon Johnson with 3 games. Patrick Williams and Ayo Dosunmu for the Bulls with 3 games on those days that don't include Friday. And then Harrison Barnes from the Spurs, and you can throw Steph Castle in there as well. The other one who is really still underrepresented on rosters is Alex Sarr. He's only got 2 games on those lower-ish volume days, excluding Friday, but it's still enough for him to be added and started basically everywhere. So if he is available in your league, like that is the move that you go and do. That's sort of your 5-day chunky section there in terms of looking at how we go for the rest of the rest of the week, plus starting one day into week 4. Let's take a look at some of the streaming options on Thursday, paying a little bit of attention to who is available and how we can work that out. And the streams of the day, I think for 10-teamers, we've got to go to Bubbles, Julian Champagnie, old Buble. He's also the Yahoo point streamer and the ESPN point stream. He's available in a lot of spots. It will get more complicated when Devin Vassell returns. I guess there's an outside shot that Vassell actually returns on Friday. I don't think we'll be doing that, but there is an outside shot of it, and that would impact quite a bit of stuff. The 12-team cat guy would be Pat Williams maybe, but otherwise Ayo Dosunmu would step up if Zach LaVine is out in particular. 14-team, I'll go with Steph Castle, and 16-team, we'll go with Nickeil Alexander-Walker. And like I said, for Yahoo points leagues and ESPN points leagues, Julian Champagnie at this point is probably that guy that we take a look at who can work into that range. The 10-team category streams for Thursday. Yeah, so Champagnie, you got Pat Williams, you got Dosunmu, you've got the pencil, Harrison Barnes. Barnesy. Yes, I know, he's not exciting at all, but with 3 games on, a starter who played, I think, 36 minutes the last 2 games, that's interesting. Jaden McDaniels is nearly always going to appear on these sort of lists on the low volume days. And then Steph Castle might start. I think he'll be pretty destructive in terms of percentages. And I'm not sure his usage is going to be that high. But sometimes minutes is what you need. Or sometimes minutes is what you can get something out of. And I think that's at least marginally worth us taking a look at. For 12-team leagues, we're still looking at those guys on the 10-team list. Include then Nickeil Alexander-Walker. The Bucks guys are tough. Gary Trent and Taurean Prince. I don't know that Glenn Rivers makes a change there. We need to also check whether Giannis is in or not. Or even Middleton, who I don't think is going to be... Oh, no, he won't be a part of it. Let's be serious. The Middleton's out. But whether Giannis plays or not, like where Trent and Prince's minutes go, they're options, but like it could easily blow up in your face. And then I've got Andre Jackson when you're looking for some defensive type numbers in Milwaukee, because he was able to play a fairly sizable role last time out, and he could do it again. Malaka Branham in the Spurs situation with Sohan and Vassell out. There were just some extra shots to go around, so he maybe pushes 2 to 3 extra minutes. We are talking sort of bottom of the barrel scraping sort of stuff here, but he's an option. And then Donovan Clingan is available in some spots. He's not an everyday sort of player, I don't think, but there is enough value for him to be at least considered when you're streaming in those 12-team formats. Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook, and that gets you ready to take on all of the NFL action. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything that you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. In the middle of a game, you might get a hunch, you're watching something break down and develop, and then you've got to open the app to place your live bet. And instead of having to go somewhere different to find the live stats and the updated live play-by-play, it's all there in that one spot where you would place your live bet. So go to FanDuel.com today to get started, and get started with that $150 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet. Go to FanDuel.com and never waste a hunch, and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. And don't forget to gamble responsibly. Let's finish off the streams of the day here for Thursday. Get into those deep league streams. Again, just some Spurs. Zach Collins, don't think he plays extra, but like he's a 14, 15 minute a night guy. If you want to stream that in, go for it. Jalen Smith, Kyle Filipowski, whose value would rise above these players if Markkanen is out. Cody Williams, similarly, just some extra shots to go around. They'd jump a little bit higher if Lauri is out. AJ Green is there. And the other guy that's been getting a little bit of extra tick, not a huge amount, but Sandro Mamakhelishvili. And maybe they play him a little bit at the 4 with Sohan out. So just someone to keep an eye on in those very, very, very deep formats to see if there's any change to anything that he does. Your Yahoo Points League streams of the day. These are all over 50% available. Julian Champagnie, Keldon Johnson, Scooter Henderson, Harrison Barnes, Toumani Camara, and Ayo Dosunmu. Just remember though, Shaedon Sharpe is back, so just go and grab him as your probably highest priority behind Champagnie. And ESPN Points has the same list of streaming guys. We're talking Champagnie, Keldon Johnson, Scoot Henderson, Harrison Barnes, Toumani Camara, and Ayo Dosunmu. It does bring us to the end, actually, of the show. Short little preview show for Thursday. Give it a thumb up, double bang, and leave your comments down below. Guys, we're not done yet. Give it a thumb up. I didn't even put the little graphic up. Do that now. But now, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.